Good evening, America. Welcome back to another episode of Break the Machine podcast on this Monday night. Um, Tonight, it's just Red Day Walker and I. We're just going to be chilling like we do, bringing you the Monday Madness on another Monday night with more things to go on. If you guys haven't been paying attention, please make sure you go over to Red Day's Rumble channel, Patriot Day Walker. Every Sunday, he's dropping, every week is stuff that's been going on with the administration, a lot of information that he puts out. So make sure that you're checking that out. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link at the top of each chat in both YouTube and Rumble. We appreciate it. Also, we want to build up that Discord family so we can continue to talk to one another. Um, outside of the shows of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights. And you can drop articles in there, memes. You can do whatever you want. We're also looking to try to do a movie night on a Saturday night. See if we can get that going. But we'd like to get some more of you involved and get your suggestions. So without further ado, let's bring Red Day Walker on. What is going on, Red Day?
Up, man? It's all good. Made it through another
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, made it through another weekend, man. Another weekend with just everything just moving at light speed, as
Oh yeah.
usual. One of the things I wanted to hit people over the head with is just one of the things to talk about tonight of the many that we'll probably get into is this gaslighting shit that you guys are seeing on social media by the left. Okay, we know
Which
because you
which
guys are,
one?
yeah, you guys are well, I'm going to get into that. You guys are all smart individuals, right? So I don't know if you've seen on
Mhm.
especially on Twitter X, okay, the lefties have been coming out talking about how MAGA has regretted their vote voting for Trump. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but it's not just it's everybody on the left. They think they're going to gaslight us into actually believing that. The only people they're
Yeah.
gaslighting is their own people. That's it. Yeah, they're the only ones that fucking, believe that shit.
Yeah. I don't know anybody who's regretting it. Not
Yeah.
one.
I,
Like
I,
I don't know. I wonder there's nobody that if anybody that says that they're not happy with like what he's doing, they're just simply people that never voted for him in the first place.
Correct. And if there's anybody who actually did vote for him and now all of a sudden are saying they regretted it, they were full of shit first place, right? Like they were just upset at the
They
moment,
are
and
because
then all of a sudden they fell back.
he's simply doing everything he ran his campaign on. Why would you be upset?
I know. I don't
It's nothing.
understand
It's
it.
nothing.
Listen, I can tell you 100% unequivocally that this guy right here is not upset and does not regret his vote at all. It is absolutely complete bullshit, fam. So, they're trying to gaslight you all and everything like that. On top of the violence that they're trying to stir up and that they're actually, doing in real time, right? Molotoving people's car dealerships and wrecking people's Teslas and whatnot. And they're really only
Mhm.
I think they're definitely probably just going after their own people. They don't even realize because they're the ones that drive the Teslas, right? We don't drive them. Not that we don't have people who drive Teslas, but we're all about
I don't
trucks and
know
shit like
anybody.
that.
I'll be honest. I
I,
don't know anybody that drives a Tesla.
I
I don't.
I I personally don't know anybody who drives a Tesla. Between you and nobody in my family, nobody in my extended friendship, or just of actually knowing people all over the place. I don't know anybody who has a Tesla. Nobody.
No.
And I personally don't know anybody. I know none of the our followers regret our vote because anytime these people post that shit like on X or Instagram, whatever, they get absolutely ratioed, and it's just fun to see.
Yeah.
They get
I
absolutely
don't know.
ratioed.
I mean, but the reality is too. I mean, you can find people who maybe think that he hasn't done enough, and that's
Correct.
fair. But
Yeah.
nobody's regretting what he's done. If
Right.
anybody's upset, if there's anybody that voted for him that was maybe not super happy, it's maybe thinking that they just haven't done enough yet. That's it.
Yeah.
But as far as like the direction they're going, and no one's upset about that.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Again, I don't know anybody who's upset about that at all. Not one person.
Not one.
Um,
Not
you
one.
know, I'm with you on that. I think that, and we've talked about it. Like, it's like, yeah, this isn't moving fast enough. But in the grand scheme of things, we've
Some
also talked
things.
about, yeah, we also understand that not everything is going to move at Mach speed. That's just not how it
Yeah.
works.
Mhm.
That's not the reality of things. We'd like them. we personally would feel and we would like it to happen that way, but we understand that it's not going to be that way, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's just personal feelings is what it is. That's just not how shit works. Magallorian, wow, we haven't seen Magallorian um
yeah. I was
in a
just thinking that.
while. Magallorian, where have you been? We haven't seen you in a while. This is the fifth generation warfare and information wall. The only fools that will believe their bullshit would never vote MAGA in the first place. 100% Magallorian. It's good. It is absolutely good um, to see you. Conserve Reality is back with us today. We were just talking briefly about Tesla's getting dealerships getting bombed and how the left has, they got their brown shirts out there bombing, Molotov cocktailing Tesla dealerships and cars and, you know, keying swastikas
Mhm.
and spray painting them and all that other crap. And it's just they're the ones they're the violent ones. Um, you've been on nights. Okay, yeah, well that happens. But it's good to have you back though,
That'll
Magallorian.
do
It's
it.
good to see you back. Yeah, the nights to do that. I haven't worked nights in a long time. I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. Um, I absolutely that's the worst shift. I can't stand working the midnight
It's tough.
shift.
It's tough to get
Yeah.
adjusted to it.
Yeah. My actually, when I was doing shift type work, it was 3 to 11 or 4 to 12 is like my favorite shift. I was able to get things done, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
during the
not bad
day,
if you're doing like evenings.
yeah, I was able to get things done during the day and then, work. And then like if it was a Friday or Saturday night, I could still freaking go out to the bar after work and whatnot and stuff like that and get some sleep, when I got back
Still have
home
the
at like
energy to.
5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Um
Man,
yeah.
don't. It sucks getting old, man.
Yeah, it does, man. Don't
I
get
look
old,
at the
fam.
time now,
Don't get
and
old.
I look at the time now. It's like to 10:30. Like I remember, I used to be like just starting to get ready to
Bro.
go out, and it's like
Yeah, 10,
10:30. It's like
10,
shit. If I haven't left, if I'm not out already, I ain't going nowhere. I'm like, no way.
yeah, yeah. If it's
Mm. That
if I'm
couch
not
looks so
out, yeah,
comfortable.
absolutely, 100%, bro, 100%. Yeah, 10:30. It's we're calling it a night.
Hmm. I used to not go to
My
dinner until like 10 o'clock, and then we
yeah.
go out after that.
So we wouldn't even start drinking till like be, we actually hadn't even left yet. We would be drinking at somebody's place, okay,
Yeah, you'd
before
be
we went out to the
pre-gaming
club.
somewhere.
Yeah, we'd
Hmm.
be pre-gaming for sure, and then we'd end up in what do you call it? And we'd be at the club at like 11 o'clock midnight. That's when the party started anyway, for a couple of
Exactly.
hours. But we were drinking way before that, you know. Yeah, this is a war that they you know it's a war they really don't want with us because they all hate the pew pews. Okay, they don't ever want to get into some fucking shit with us um, and stuff like that. They're just nasty individuals, and they can't get over shit. They're like little babies, constantly bitching and whining and crying about stuff. We had to deal with fucking Biden, okay, and his interns running the show, the circus, for 4 years, and we put up with that shit. We dealt
So
with
stupid.
Obama for 8 years. It's just done. It's just like we're able to continue to carry on. They can't carry on, man. They just cannot carry on. It's terrible. I don't know if you saw this, brother. Um, this came in a little bit not late, but later in the day, evening edition of the Gateway Pundit. I was very, very ecstatic about this. This is President Trump revokes Secret Service protection from disgraced former DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. That was awesome
Why
to
was he
see.
getting Secret Service protection?
That's just the thing. The secretary. It's a that
They
Secret
get
Service
so they
protection
automatically
is.
get it.
Yeah, being a cabinet member, he automatically gets Secret Service protection, right? So like, but you know, I don't know what the rules are, why it extends till after for a cabinet. I know that presidents and vice presidents get it. We understand that.
I was,
Um,
but to be honest, I was expecting there to be some pushback when he canceled Hunter's and Ashley's. I
yeah,
figured because they were part of the first family, then that. I mean, I understand the first family,
yeah, they
but
usually do. Right, I agree. They usually do the first family, no matter what. Well, I was very surprised about that too. Um,
like
there wasn't much pushback.
I didn't think he could cancel it for them. I was waiting for someone to be like, "That's disgrace." I haven't heard one person say that was like disgraceful
Yeah,
or not appropriate unless it's
yeah, I
coming.
haven't heard. I haven't heard them anybody whining and crying about it, but it was really nice to see that this fucker, okay, who was a big part of the illegal invasion that went on for 4 years straight,
Mhm.
okay, he was
Oh,
a big part of that. You know,
hugely
this
responsible
motherfucker.
for it.
Yeah, it was just he took his marching orders from the interns in the administration, and he did his fucking he did his thing. He did exactly what do you call it? Um,
It's, of all of his
conserve
cabinet,
reality says it doesn't
uh,
extend to adult children, only for children underage.
oh,
Okay. All right.
interesting.
Well,
I'm kind of
learn something new.
surprised. I'm kind of surprised about that. I figured it would have, but oh well.
Yeah,
I would like to say though that of all the cabinet positions under Biden, Mayorkas definitely has the most punchable face.
it does, right? Like you just want to fucking
I mean,
punch him
there
right
were
in the
people that I
face.
hated, but his face every time he was there testifying or trying to or not answering questions that were being
Yeah.
asked of him. I just
Yeah.
man, I just wanted 5 minutes behind the shed with him.
Can we just go? Let's go into the pad room real quick.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Seriously,
he just was a
just
terrible,
he's
terrible.
such a
He
fucking
just yeah,
smack. I just wanted to smack that fucking upside down puss on his face.
yeah. And he had that snarky fucking look on his face always, and he always had
Yeah,
some
he was
snarky response. Um,
constantly looking down at everybody in the room.
yeah,
I'm doing the best job anybody could expect to be done with this. Mm.
that's true. It's like fucking
He was.
beady beady
He was
beady,
so
like a
fucking
fucking
snot.
fucking doing the robot.
Yeah, he was fucking snot. Oh my god,
Yeah,
just so full of
absolute
himself
fucking
and just so fucking uh, smug is the word. Smug.
yeah.
Fucking smug. Off his smug meter was off the chain.
They all are,
Just
man. They just can't
ridiculous.
fucking help themselves, man.
Well,
They just
some of them were just bumbling idiots. Like they're
well, they
fucking
all
like like the Treasury Secretary Yellen. She just looked like a deer in headlights. And she couldn't answer a damn question. She's like, "Oh well, we're expecting the thing the inflation to come down a little bit, and
it's
well,
just.
you know,
Do you
this is
remember?
trust me, we know what we're doing." Hop 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 hop.
Anytime I heard them talk, anytime I heard them speak, it was just like you remember Buck Rogers with the fucking robot Twiggy, beady beady beady, beady beady beady. That's all I would hear coming out of their mouth. I never knew what the fuck they were talking about. It's just beady beady beady. That's it. It just they were absolutely fucking terrible, man. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they never had
Yeah,
any
Yellen was a
answers, like you
reject.
said. Yeah, it's absolute reject. Never had any answers to anything,
She
and
never had an answer about anything. She
yeah,
was
but even
so
if she had the answer,
incompetent.
she wasn't gonna give it.
No, but she
Yeah,
was just completely like a kid,
yeah,
a fourth grader with economic level intelligence could have like answered some of the questions better than her. Like she
right.
was just like she just like staring in the camera, like, oh, what, huh?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
it was
what,
definitely deer in
what?
headlights.
How did you? How could we know? How could we would have expected that would spike inflation? We didn't know. Of course you
Yeah,
fucking knew.
they
We all
just
knew.
yeah, everybody understood what was coming every time you guys did something over there.
Yeah.
It's just that
Printing money?
whole
Oh,
fucking
well, I mean, we have to print money. We're the treasury.
yeah,
It's
they
just a complete clown.
it's just been a complete mess. Um over there. The last 4 years were just terrible. Just glad that we don't have any of them, and they just we're not even thinking about them, like really thinking about them like we were back then, because we're just pissed off every time they said something. And anything that came out of their mouth was always a fucking lie, or they didn't know, or we'll get back to you. We'll circle back to that. That was always their thing. We'll circle
Oh
back
my
to that.
God, the
Okay,
circle back girl.
yeah, circle back. Peppermint Patty. She
Yeah.
was just constantly. Um, it's just crazy, absolute crazy. It's just glad we don't have that fucking incompetence anymore. Um, we're very just happy to have like who we have, and it was a fight, man. Like and you know what? I'm genuinely, I'm thoroughly surprised it what do you call it wasn't as big as a fight as I thought it was getting president's President Trump's cabinet. I thought it was going to be like way
No,
way
I was
worse.
very surprised.
I thought it was gonna be worse, man.
Everybody that was complaining, I mean, every week it was just like, oh my god, oh my
Yeah,
god, oh my god, is this is going
yeah,
to be the one that they block? And then like Tulsi got in easy, and
yeah,
And RFK got in pretty easy, and
yeah.
then Cass got in on the
Cash.
first vote. I thought that was gonna be the toughest one, but he got in on the
So
first
did I.
try. I was like, shit.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
really
that
thought.
was actually relatively painless.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a lot more painful than it was. It just really wasn't
Well,
surprised about that.
I mean, the only
Um,
the only disappointment was Matt Gates. That was it.
yeah, I would
And
have.
I know
I
people are still
I would have
down
much
on
preferred
Bondi.
Matt Gates.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know people.
No,
But
but
I think Bondi's gonna be okay. She just needs to. She's already made a couple mistakes. We already know.
yeah,
Um, but I don't think that she's ill intentioned. I think that
you
she's
broke it
gonna,
down really
learn.
good. No, you broke it
What's that?
down really good. Last week you broke it down with Pam Bondi. You were like, "Hey, I just want to let everybody know," and you went into like all the stuff that she actually has been getting done, and what we haven't.
Yeah.
Are we even past 60 days yet?
No. Oh, now I
Yeah.
think
So
now we are. I think now we're
now
we're
we're
at
at 60s.
now we're at 60 days for her. But yeah, I mean, the DOJ and her. If you didn't watch if was it Friday show or before that?
Friday. It was. I
Friday.
believe it was
Yeah, if you
Friday's
didn't
show.
see the
Yeah.
Friday, we went on a rant on the Friday show, and it was just, what, the DOJ's been doing things. They've been
Yeah.
doing plenty of things since Bonnie. Let's think of all the schools that are getting sued. Look at the schools that got their funding cut. Look at the states
Yep.
that are getting their funding cut.
Yep.
The lawsuits they're going after they're going after companies. They're going after everybody. They're already planning on going after who was it? Well, they made the announcement today. I think that they're going to go after the people cheat that Doge fines are cheating.
Yep.
Um, but they've done quite a bit. They fumbled the Epstein release.
Yep.
The releasing of the documents, even the JFK ones. I don't know if we really learned anything. Um, but
Yeah. I
it's
feel like
not
it could
it's
be
not
done
going to
better.
be. Yeah, but you know what? Just remember, nothing is going to be perfect. Nothing. Not Trump, not JD, no Cash. Nobody's going to do everything perfectly the way we want it to do. We have to just be, we have to be pleased that uh, it's better than it was, right? They're definitely, I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to look at how things were 90 days ago, holy shit, it's night and day. And
And
for
and
everybody
she's
that
got a.
says, they're not doing, for everybody that says, oh, well, they're not doing enough, especially like Pam Bondi, just think about this. Think about what your top 4 or 5 issues are, but that mean the most to you, right? Maybe it's free speech. Maybe it's the border. Maybe it's protecting the kids. Maybe it's trans and women's sports. Maybe it's First Amendment, Second Amendment. Maybe it's the military defense, right? Think about any of those things. These are all the main reasons why people voted for Trump. And then just think, what would how would we be closer or better off in any of those categories if a certain cacklehead was president right now?
No, if Kamala was president right now, we'd be having some serious issues right now.
No,
We'd have serious
we're
issues.
better off.
Well,
I mean, yeah, we want it. I mean, there's no reason to. I'm not saying give her or Bondi or anybody else, including Trump, pass on anything.
no,
I'm simply
no, absolutely
saying
not.
be vocal about it, because honestly, when we're vocal about it, he listens. Like he listened when he was trying to nominate that Florida sheriff to, I don't remember what position it was. Um,
Yeah, the ATF.
he the ATF. He
Yeah,
was very. He noticed that. You know what? He was also very perceptive on. He saw how we reacted to that initial Epstein thing release, and that's why he was just like, "No, we got to get shit out. We got to get it out now." And he made
yeah,
sure that, again, not perfect, but nevertheless, he talked to Bondi about that. And he said, "Well,
yeah,
for these other things, we can't do it the same way. It pissed everybody off." So
yeah, and
they are
he's
responsive to that.
and there is a big bloated, fucking all these agencies are bloated with like a lot of fat, right? That has to get trimmed from it. It's not easy. If you're paying attention to what's going on, like every time. anytime he signs an executive order to get rid of something, you got these
Mhm.
activist judges that come back, okay, that push back. So it's like it is a fight that is going to happen, all right, and it's happening, right? So the DOJ is part of that fight. Pam Bondi's office is part of that fight. They're the ones that have to
Yeah.
lead the charge in that fight. When these judges push back, they're the ones that have to appeal it. Then they have to freaking, do everything. We don't do things the way the left does. The left does things fucking just all illegally. They do things. They don't care about law. They don't care about the Constitution. They break it
Right.
at all costs. They could give a rat's ass. Okay. Whereas, our administration, as frustrating as it is, he's still trying to follow the law. He also did that in his first term too. He's
Yeah.
following the law. Okay.
Mhm.
Trying to do things the right way. And, that's why we don't see things happening overnight. I wish they
Right.
would just happen freaking overnight.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Schumer said, yeah, I know Schumer was on TV saying that they loaded up, with 230 judges last year, but you know what? Uh, Under the Trump administration, we got almost 300 judges that Trump put in. So like
Yeah.
it just because we had control of the Senate at that time. So like yeah. He put in last year. They actively went after make. They knew what was coming, right? They knew that it was going to be Trump,
Well,
right? So they went out. They
especially because
actively
they knew
went.
that they weren't. They knew that they were going to lose seats in the House. They were going to not.
Yeah,
They're not going to capture the Senate. The judges are the only thing they had to fall back on. That was it.
yeah. The
Even
continue the
because
cut
even
the
to say what's
It's the
that?
continuation of lawfare. The
Yeah,
continuation of lawfare with the activist judges.
because you know what you can say. You got. I think you got to admit this too. I think they were counting on the rhinos having
Yeah,
more of an effect. And let's be
yeah,
honest, they have not. I mean, there's been a couple of votes that didn't go our way with like the typical the usual like the McConnells, the Murkowskis,
yeah,
the Collins. But
yeah. The usual
has it really
suspects.
impacted a lot?
No,
I don't think
not
so.
yet.
It
No,
didn't impact
not at
any of
all.
his didn't impact any of his secretary picks. There's been some other things that they still went and they passed. The Lincoln Riley Act got passed, didn't matter. Um, there's been plenty of other votes that even when they had the budget, even when they had you had a couple people abstain, they still went for the most part. They still went for it. And I think that again that the Democrats were hoping that was going to be their ace in the hole, and it hasn't happened for them.
Yeah.
They've definitely let them down. And I don't know if it's because they don't want to go against Trump too much, maybe because they see his popularity soaring. They're just reading the
Yeah,
room a little bit.
it's the he right now he is definitely his popularity is definitely for Trump. His popularity is through the roof. Okay, and they don't want to buck
Mhm.
that. There's a major election coming up. What do you call it in 2026? And they understand. They see the writing on the wall. And I still like you feel that no matter what, we got to primary these motherfuckers out, and we just have to. Like Susan Collins
Some way.
up in Maine. Susan Collins up in Maine. Let them if they get a Democrat, they get a Democrat, right? Because she votes like a Democrat anyway. So it's not. Is it really a loss if we lose Susan Collins?
It's not. It's a net gain.
Yeah, but I think there's still a lot of fucking rhinos that need to get primaried out. Especially in the Senate.
You know what?
Um,
Speaking of the seats, though, you know how they've been talking about how some of these like states have lost House of Representative seats because of
yeah,
the population shifts and everything.
yeah.
When is that actually going to affect?
That's
Like
a
I
good
even heard
question. I think.
Bill Maher. Is that a question for Jonathan? Um,
I
it's
think
even
it affects after a census is done.
but it happened, and I'm saying they already
Yeah.
know. Even Bill Maher last week, he was already saying that California was going to lose two. I think New York
Yeah.
is going to lose one. I don't remember what other state. There was like all that. It was all Democrat states that were losing.
Right.
I
Because
think
of
it
all the
was maybe
people
like a
moving
total
out
of
of.
four, yeah, 4 or 5 seats.
Right.
And obviously they're going to places like Texas and Florida, and I don't know who else. Maybe Arizona or Nevada. Um, but when
No,
does this
they're going
happen?
to the Carolinas too, North Carolina, South Carolina as well.
Okay,
Um,
but when? When do we actually
I,
get this? When do we get the switch?
I'm not sure. I honestly am not sure.
Do people
I
have
think
to
again,
retire? Do the reps have to retire first before they can get
it,
removed? Because that would suck.
Yeah, that would absolutely suck. No, no. You know how I know that's not true? Because in the state of New York, when in the 1990s, we had
Hmm.
my representative was a Republican when I was in the military, and his seat, we ended up losing his seat because of the census at the time.
And he
Okay, we
basically
and
his
we
term came to an end, and that was it.
yeah, yeah. I don't remember if his term came to an end, and I think it was when his term came to an end, that was it. But we had lost some seats due to a
Hmm.
census and stuff like that. So, uh, I remember he was fantastic too. He had been a congressman for a very long time. He was very active. What do you call it? In the state of New York and trying to get help people and help his constituents and stuff like that. God, I can't for the life of me. Benjamin something. He was an older dude. I can't for the life of me remember his name.
Netanyahu.
Uh, no, you're an asshole.
What?
Uh, you
He's an
know,
old Benjamin.
this is this is a big one right here. This is something big too. I was gonna touch on this. We actually talked about it briefly about this. This is if MAGA doesn't win the Supreme Court battle in Wisconsin, we will lose 2 congressional seats. Yep, because they're gonna gerrymander there. The Wisconsin Supreme Court election is fucking must win. It is. It absolutely is. 100%. 100%. Magalorian. That is a very, 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 very important, what do you call it, election in the state of Wisconsin, um, because we have a chance of actually taking the state Supreme Court back in Wisconsin. And I know Trump has just he's just endorsed the candidate, the
But so
conservative.
they don't have it. So they don't have it now. But if they lose it again, then it's going to be
Yeah,
worse.
yeah, we had it then lost it. Okay,
Right.
but the seat is up again for election. I think due to a retirement or something like that, and a seat is up. So we need to win that seat so we can get it back because the Democrats up in Wisconsin with the Supreme Court they're already ready. They're gonna gerrymander the whole freaking state, and we're gonna lose seats, Republican seats for sure. They're gonna write our seats out. Yeah.
I mean, we'll
So
see.
they're already geared up for it. The Democrats are geared up in the state of Wisconsin. It's a very, very important
They just
election for the state Supreme
they
Court.
just did something. Didn't they just do something in Wisconsin? Because we don't have it right now, right? Is that
No, we
that's the
don't.
point?
And if you remember last year they reinstated the mail-in ballots thing, the drop boxes. They reinstated that the state Supreme Court. With the conservative court, the court said it was illegal, and then the fucking when it became a liberal court in last year for the election, they specifically said up, no, mail-in boxes are okay. So that way they can do the cheat again. They wanted to fucking
I don't think they
to
did. Something just happened though. Didn't something just happen? I think it was on one of my things.
oh in Wisconsin,
Um,
yeah, that I don't know.
yeah.
I only know of last year. Yeah, if anything recent, then no, bro, I don't know. Jonathan, did the state of Wisconsin just do something recently other than I think there was an
Oh no, I
insurrection
got
in
it.
their state capital?
No, I'm gonna find it. So they just did something like either this past week or the week before.
Okay, the
Um,
state Supreme Court.
yeah. Well, the appellate. Well, let me see. Here's one thing: the appellate court in Wisconsin blocks the Democratic effort to allow voting online. So they said no more online voting. I don't know if that was something they were
Okay,
trying to push. Let me
okay,
see if
and this is in
maybe that was the
Wisconsin.
only thing. Wisconsin specifically. That just
Okay,
happened like a
yeah,
week ago.
online voting. This
Um,
shit is crazy.
so even with, I'm
Uh,
just saying, even, but that
wait a
wasn't
minute,
the
wait a
what.
minute. Sorry,
That,
Magalorian says it's a 4-3 control, but so right now I thought the left took control of the what do you call it? It's 4-3 control. How do we got 4-3 control? Is it because I could have sworn we lost the control? Magalorian, can you explain that a little bit more for us, please? Because maybe I obviously got my information incorrectly, so I'd like to get schooled on that really quick, please. I for the life of me, I thought that the state Supreme Court in Wisconsin was a liberal court at this moment. But if it's not, please explain what happened. If I missed an election somewhere.
obviously, it's not if they just blocked the Democrats from trying to put an online voting
Yeah,
measure in. It's not they
yeah.
can't have that much control over it right now.
Well, but that's the appellate court, not that's not the highest bench.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, it's not the highest court. It was
So
just
no,
a
if I,
court, I
that's what
guess,
I'm
that made
saying.
a
If I'm
ruling.
yeah, if I'm incorrect on the highest court, I want to know, where what information am I missing? I like to get schooled on things. If I'm wrong about something, I want to make sure I correct myself.
Yeah.
All right, Magalorian's gonna check for us.
I think that was the only thing. I think that was the only Wisconsin update I had on my
But that
countdowns.
is it is a very very important election. Okay, and I know Scott Pressler's been on it. He kind of stopped what he was doing in Jersey. His people are still doing what they're doing in Jersey, and he's been pushing Wisconsin. Trying to get people out because it's early voting going on right now in Wisconsin. I think the same day voting is actually April 1st.
Hmm.
So it's a special election, I think. And I think it's because of a retirement,
Probably.
but I could be completely wrong on that. All I know is that this it's just a very important. The most important thing is that we have to win that seat. And then Conserve says, look at what they did in 2020 and 2024 with their bullshit regarding the election and how much fraud they brought to the courts, and they kicked it out. The only thing I would say about 2024 is that as the bullshit was coming up, the Republican lawyers were on top of it very, very fast in
They learned their lesson
2024.
from
They
2020.
learned their lesson from 2020. So before the actual election, they were jumping on shit right away. The only problems that they were having, and it actually ended up getting fixed, was in Pennsylvania. If you remember the bullshit that was going on in Pennsylvania, and actually they had some problems in
Hmm.
Nevada too, but we still ended up winning Nevada because
Sure.
the Nevada courts did some bullshit leftist stuff as well. Uh, that's the only thing I know. I know in 2020, like conservative reality was saying is they kicked out a whole bunch of shit. Uh, you know, there were a lot of
You got to
court cases that went to the courts, and the judges were like, "Nope, we're not going to deal with it."
Yeah. You got to remember too that Trump's now in charge of the DOJ.
Yeah.
So anything that any state tries to go off the reservation on, if they try to like pull some like crazy
Okay.
shenanigans, like especially in an election year, they don't
So
have to necessarily block them, but they can do things that'll punish the state for doing it, and
yeah.
that can just prevent them from going through with it.
Okay.
You can already
So
see
I
them how
was
they
right.
do. What's that?
I was right. Four leftists and three conservatives on the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Supreme Court? Okay.
Yeah, it's the lefty whose term is up. Okay, so it's not a resignation; it's a term limit. Okay, I didn't even
So it's
realize they had term
already
limits.
well, let me ask you this. It's already left leaning. So what's the
Yeah.
difference if they just replace them? Why is it so big of a difference than what they have right now?
Um, I think it's because it's a 4-3
Like,
majority. Okay, it's a 4-3 leftist majority, right? One of them, one of them, their seat is up because of term limits. So
mhm,
the election, if we win it, it becomes 4-3 conservative because we already got three that are still on the
right,
court. Yeah,
right. But my question is this though, but so they're gonna quote do all these things if they hold on to their 4-3 majority. Why don't they just do that now? They have a 4-3 majority now.
that's a good question. I agree. That's a valid question.
I'm saying is it just fear mongering that oh my god, they're gonna do all this stuff, but I'm like they have the power to do it now.
Yeah, this is for you, bro.
Why what's that?
Uh,
Can you put it up?
Conserve says, pay. Oh yeah, it's up. It says Patriot Daywalker. It doesn't matter if Trump runs the DOJ. They are against him regardless. He has the final say, but not control. Most of it is all run through the Supreme Court of the United States and Bondi.
I know I'm aware of that. What I'm saying is that but Trump directs them. Not he doesn't direct SCOTUS, but I mean he directs the DOJ and Bondi. And
Correct.
just like what he's doing with other things, he can choose to, you know, reward or punish states based on their stance on elections. He can do that just with any other policy in his administration. He can choose to do that, and it's up to them to either fight back or relent. But he can make life difficult. He can make life difficult enough for them so that they just are dissuaded from doing it. You know,
Yeah, just has to
that's
do what
all.
they do. That's all. Just play
Yeah,
by the same
because
rules, right?
Biden played those
Yeah,
games. You know, he was like,
yeah,
"Oh, well, you're going to do this, then okay, well then we're going to blah 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 blah."
Yeah, we're gonna sue
it was
you on
constant
this. Yeah,
chess moves. Yeah, chess move this,
yeah,
chess move that. They sued states and everything. They sued Texas for doing things with their National Guard, and they,
yeah,
on border policies, and they sued other states for things they were doing with, what was it, Florida and Oklahoma when they were going against abortion. They went
yep,
after them, but some of the states held it. Depends on how much integrity the states had. Did they stand their ground? Or did they relent? You know,
yeah. No, I agree.
state.
If he just stays within, yeah, he'll just do the same shit they did. Every
That's
time they
all.
come up with some bullshit, you sue him
Same
for
thing.
some reason. Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
yeah. He's got a follow up
So
for you.
you have to trust. That's the thing. That's the part you have to. You just have to have faith in that he's going to do that. Just like when people, I even saw a comment before where like oh Bond, like people, a lot of people were down on Bondi because of her record when she was the attorney general down in Florida. Yeah, she has a checkered past when it comes to 2A. Um, Trump's not anti 2A. He's not going to have Bondi, having ATF go round up conservatives or whatever
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
not.
He's not going to do that. In
He's
fact,
not
in
even
fact,
trying to address that right now.
we already saw today. If you didn't see that, Cash Patel already said he's going to be taking 1,000 employees out of the ATF and he's
And
going to
sending him to the
reassign them to the
FBI.
FBI.
Yep.
I mean, he's basically, and it's because if he tries to just flat out neuter the ATF, or defund them or something like that, he knows that that's going to be like a big, a judge is going to come back and oh, you can't
Yeah.
do that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
But
another fight.
reassigning personnel, that's a whole
Yeah.
different story.
Yeah.
But it has the same effect. If the ATF is like a third of the manpower they were before, guess what? They're not going to be just doing like welfare checks on people just because their ex-wife says, oh, he has 10 guns, he's dangerous. You know,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
not going to be doing that shit like they
It's
were
just
the
he's
last
not
4 years.
even. I will say this that we haven't had anything coming out of the ATF right now. What I would like to see is I'd like to see some of these lawsuits that were going on um, under the Biden administration against the Biden's ATF continue to proceed. There
Mhm.
was also some other stuff that I'd like to see some of the regulations go by because they made up these freaking what do you call it regulations and stuff like that to skirt the law, right? So they took the law, the gun laws that are on the books, okay, federal gun laws, and then they make their stupid regulations. But the Supreme Court does, what the hell's the name of that Supreme Court? I think it was Chevron was the one that's essentially saying that agencies are not allowed to skirt the law and just make random regulations and stuff like that don't comply with law, right?
I think
So
it was Chevron, but I couldn't tell
I
you for
think it was
sure.
Chevron. And I just want to see some of the regulations go away. They just have to. We got tax stamps on fucking certain weapons and certain accessories and stuff like that and everything for weapons. It's just bullshit. It's a crock of shit. And I'm with Conserve Reality. They definitely need to be, yeah, they need to be repurposed.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need that agency at all.
Yeah,
Um,
and
that
Jonathan
can
says
some.
it needs to just be abolished. It's not needed.
Yeah, I
Yes,
agree. Oh, I'm with
and
you on that. I'm not
Mandalorian
disagreeing. I'm not
gets
disagreeing.
Chevron
We know
deference.
we know what the playbook is right now is that if they try to close anything down, just like the Department of Education, or
Yeah,
these other agencies like USAID or whatever,
yeah,
they're getting blocked, 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 blocked. Oh, you can't just block
yeah.
it. You can't just defund it. You can't just do this.
Yeah,
So
and
tactics.
it's
That's all.
yeah, we got to get it to the Supreme Court, and you can't even trust the Supreme Court right now because I don't know if you saw uh what came out about fucking Justice Chief Roberts being part of that fucking group of judges and lawyers and shit like that, essentially that are all fucking anti-Trumpers and whatnot.
I don't know why that was a big story. I mean, I could have told you that like 5 years
I
ago
know,
that they
yeah,
had like these
Y-
stupid
y-
things.
yeah. I mean,
Like
I just
why?
think that I think it's because it was Justice Chief Roberts. He's supposed to be a conservative on the bench, but he's not, and supposed to be a constitutionalist. He's not. Um, he
Dude, I
he
have
he's
normies telling me stories about him.
yeah he's listen. He showed during he had the opinion. Okay, it was his last fucking vote on the court that could have absolutely just destroyed, okay, Obamacare. All right. He showed me who he was at that point, that he put his legacy was more important to him than actually following the fucking rule of law. Okay, and then he sided with the liberals, and fucking it was a more liberal court at the time anyway.
Yeah.
And he just like got completely fucking raked over the coals with Obamacare since. uh and he proved to me, and so ACB is the same way, right? Like,
Mhm.
she has shown me that her legacy, what she thinks is her legacy is supposed to be, is more important to her than being the constitutionalist that she got picked for in the first place. Because if you look at her history
Mhm.
prior to that, she was a strict constitutionalist.
Yeah.
Okay, for the most part, she was a fucking very constitutionalist. She goes to the Supreme Court, and now she's forgotten what the fuck got her there and stuff like that.
I've told people this before. It's tough to just. I'm not saying that I agree with her on like some of the things that she's sided on, things like that, but it's tough to know everything that she's been through. Um, we don't know. I mean, it's possible that she could just have sold out. Maybe she's been bribed. It's also possible that you know she got pulled. She got pulled aside, and someone said, "Listen, we're going to need you to just vote the way we want you to vote, or you can say goodbye to your family." You know, I wouldn't put that past our own government from doing.
Yeah,
The CIA or the special
yeah,
interest group, whatever. I wouldn't be surprised. Um,
yeah. No, you're
and if that's the
100%.
case, I
No,
can't
you're right.
imagine. I don't know how many people would respond the same way. Hey, Scoob. Um, but if
Hey,
that
what's
happened,
going
I'm
on,
just
Scoop?
saying, if that happened, it sucks. But that's the
Yeah,
thing. I wish
eh,
there was more transparency to know what's going on behind closed doors, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Any of that is possible because, like you said, we can't put shit past anybody, especially in our government, right? You can't put shit that if something like that, like there's a literal gun to her head when it comes to things. But I
Mhm.
personally think that she's taken, for me, this is just my opinion, that she has taken the path of Justice Chief Roberts because he was a mentor to her, okay, in the
Yeah,
past. And to her, what she thinks her legacy should be, a legacy of fairness. But there's no such thing. It's just just follow the Constitution. That's all we ask. Um,
yeah. I mean,
Here,
she's
Magalorian throws this out.
what's
ACB,
up?
she says, believe used the Clinton Foundation to adopt her Haitian child. So there you go, right? Like,
Oh, well, there you
we all know
go.
what the
If
Clinton
we
Foundation.
if if that's her connect, if that's a connection of hers, then you know what? I think what that answers most of what we're probably speculating.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously,
Yeah.
again, this is all speculation.
And
We
who
like you
knows?
said, we
Maybe,
don't,
but you know
like
what?
you
That's
said, we
how
don't know.
maybe that's how they corrupted her. Maybe they're just like, we're gonna tell everybody the truth about how you got that kid. If you
Yeah,
don't, if you don't go play ball with us when we want you to. It didn't have to be an all the time thing. It just been like when we make that when it could be like Jason Bourne. You get that text all of a sudden, you gotta have to just go. You
yeah.
need to just go
No,
go with
it-
us,
it's
or you're gonna be disgraced and deposed, and maybe you lose some family members. There are
Jonathan
people out
says.
there with the power and evil that would do that.
Jonathan says, can we just clone Clarence Thomas and put him on all 9 Supreme Court seats?
Dude, that scares me is the fact that during this term he's probably gonna retire.
Yeah.
And
If he's
Trump
and
better
if he's
pick
gonna
somebody really good.
Yeah, and if he's gonna do that, he's got to do that early while we have while we still have the Senate,
Mhm.
so that he
Yes,
can
he's
pick
got to do it
somebody
before
younger.
2026.
Correct.
He's got to do that, and but he's he needs and if we I don't know what is it just who votes for the SCOTUS? Is it just the House or the Senate?
The Senate. The Senate.
And he
It's
just
the
needs a
Senate that.
majority, right?
Yeah. He'll meet with the House and stuff like that, but it's the Senate that uh does it. And all he
He
needs is a simple majority.
he needs somebody very far right. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
very
No, I just
conservative.
all I want is not only that, I just want them to be constitutionalists, right? Like, we talk about the Constitution all the time. Conservative reality hits it all the time about we the people. He always brings up like valid points about the Constitution. That's
Mm-hmm.
all we want, is people to just follow the fucking Constitution. That's it.
Yep.
Okay? All this other sideshow shit that's going on with these activist judges, okay? They're circumventing the Constitution, right? They're literally stepping on the dick, okay, of the executive branch on purpose. All right,
Yeah.
through the bench, they're saying you can't do this. You can't. Essentially, you can't do your job. What the Constitution says that you can do, you can fire people. You can do whatever you want. Rebuild your freaking agencies. You can shit can an agency if you want to. Granted, you got to go through some of them. You got to go through Congress and everything like that with some of this shit. Okay, because there is checks and balances. But like just the actual making these agencies function, getting rid of the fucking
Mm-hmm.
fat, trimming the fat, okay, putting in good personnel. If we have to, if we're forced to continue these stupid agents, some of these dumbass agencies, right, you should have the
Yep.
right as the chief executive officer of the country to make the changes that you need to fix it.
Yep.
But you got these activist judges stepping all over that. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at Scoop because he brought up Jason Bourne. He says they call me Jason Bourne when I scarf down on Chinese buffet.
Ha!
But yeah, it just all this activist judge shit has got to stop, and our Congress doesn't have the fucking balls to start. Although I did see a report that there are on one of these Obama judges that they're supposedly put drafting paperwork to what do you call it impeach some of the one of at least one of these dudes.
They've been talking about that for a few weeks. There's been at least 4 judges that they're talking about impeaching, but
But I haven't
I
seen
mean,
any. Yeah, but I haven't seen anything move.
draft this thing. They keep saying they're drafting it. They're drafting it. It's like
Yeah, yeah. I'm at the point where
I think they're being told to hold up. I think these reps or these senators are do want to do it, but I think like his cabinet or his strategic team is probably telling them wait, 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 um,
Mhm.
because if it goes up and it fail, I think the biggest problem is if it goes up and it just fails. I think it's going to
Yeah.
be like huge egg on their face, and it's just going to set a bad, and they're not going
It's
to
true.
recover from it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. No, you're right. But you know what?
There's Republicans that won't vote for that.
Yeah, you got to be, but you can't be afraid to fail, right? Like, because we're at a point right now where the people, the vast majority of people who voted for Trump and what Trump brings, right? We talked about this earlier on in the show, folks. Red Day Walk and I, and all of you, we do not regret our vote for Trump. Okay, nobody on our side regrets. Okay, voting for Trump. This is what we wanted, right? And we want the fight. We understand that there's going
Mm-hmm.
to be a fight with things, right? Because the Marxist left, which is really entrenched in the deep state, is going to they're going to be in lockstep. They're going to close ranks and fight. They're going to fight until the very end because they don't want to lose their money. They don't want to lose their power. All right, so we want to see that fight. So like I just want to see, but again, we say it all the time. Fucking Senate Republicans are milk toast fucking pussies anyway. They don't do what's right anyway. So it's just hard to do.
No, they
It's
don't.
it's hard to get anything done with them because they're a bunch of fucking cock gobblers. Every single one of them.
I mean,
They just
you know, we need to get rid of it. That's I keep saying I'm concerned. Like that's why I keep bringing up. I keep asking, putting the word out. What's going to happen in Kentucky? Because we have a great chance of McConnell's not going to make it to 2026. He's just not.
yeah. No, okay.
What's the
Conserve.
backup plan?
Conserve, let me follow up with you, brother. It's literally been, he says, it's literally been 2 months of work and 3 months into the new year, and people are talking about regrets already. That is borderline. Not our side. It's not. All right. So
No, it's
at the
gaslighting.
beginning of
That's
the
what Eric
show,
said.
yeah, yeah, at the beginning of the show, brother, I was talking about how the left is trying to gaslight people into thinking that those of us that voted for Trump that we're absolutely regretting our vote. That is just not so. So no, no. And if there's anybody on our side that actually regrets it, they weren't really on our side anyway, and stuff like that. They were just pissed off of they were pissed off of their fucking paychecks over the last 4 years, how it didn't go very
Yeah.
well, and they decided to vote with us. But it's not us, man. Yeah, it's they're trying to like Jonathan says, it's mostly the left trying to will it into reality, is what they're trying to do. So no, that's we were just talking about that early on, conserve, early on in the show. That was one of the first things. Speaking of, you said you had something for. Whoa, Chef, what's going on, brother? Chef Nick, it's good to see you, man. Yes, Biden was definitely retarded. No one regrets shit. You said you had something you wanted to announce?
Who me?
Yeah, yeah, we were
You
talking about
talking
it
to
earlier.
me?
You said,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
We
Yeah, it was
just
about
got into
Chef Nick.
talking.
It was about Chef Nick Nero. He's not. I'm not sure he's really a chef. I'm just kidding. um, Now I was gonna say, planning a special podcast on the 21st of April. It is April 21st. Will be if not, it'll be not maybe not the exact day, but it'll be off by a day. But it'll be nice blindfolded. Yep. Um, it's gonna mark 90 days in 90 days since Trump was inaugurated,
Okay.
and putting together a panel of people to basically just call it like they see it. Um, the good, the bad, and there's been some ugly things.
Right.
Call it down, try to give a fair report card, and then hopefully not fight about too many things. But
So
yeah,
it'll be the week of the 21st or the week of the 21st.
I think it's
Because the
whatever that Monday
yeah,
is. Is the Monday the
that's
twenty first?
yeah, Monday is the 21st. It's the day after Easter.
Okay, yeah, Monday the 21st. That night,
Okay.
that Monday night, that podcast we're gonna. And I already started inviting some people, and it's gonna be a big, extra big panel. Um, and see some old faces, maybe some new ones. But it's going to be people that really just are keyed into a lot of the stuff that's going on. They're paying attention to a lot of things, and it's going to be a very interesting conversation. It'll be a fun conversation, I think.
Okay. And once we know who it is, fam, we will let you guys know. But as of right now, I don't know.
Mhm.
This is still in the works, so
Yep.
we couldn't tell you. So, but if you're just joining us right now, we are headed into our second hour. Um, we started off with the gaslighting from the left, trying to tell everybody that uh, Trump voters are regretting their vote, which isn't. And then we went into, like we always do, a host of shit. You know, that's how this show goes. We take the conversation where it needs to go. We just bring stuff up and keep going at will. So if you'd like to support the show, there is a buy me a coffee at the top of each chats for both YouTube and Rumble. Also, Jonathan has put together a Discord for us to continue our conversations. So please go ahead and become a member. It's completely free, and we're looking to do a movie night on a Saturday and whatnot. And Chef Nick Nero says, absolutely correct. It's been like 3 months. World can't change what quick, especially when there has in media and judges working against us all. Yeah, it's true. It's not going to happen overnight, regardless. And we actually we hit on that a little bit, Chef, earlier today. We were talking about that, that things are just not going to happen overnight. We want things, we feel, and we want it to happen overnight, but we understand that it's not going to. And you're absolutely correct with the Marxist state media and the activist judges right now they're in like full court press trying to stop the administration from getting anything done. So, that's kind of where
Mhm.
we're at right now. It's fucking terrible what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, Trump's not stupid. I mean, people say like, oh, he's going after the easy stuff. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's going after the easy stuff first because that's what you do. You take the pawns off the board first. In chess, the pawns go first, and then as far as the queen, you don't go for the queen on the first shot or anything like that. You have to build up your strategy to get the queen, right? To get the king. That's the point of chess, not checkers. Going
Yeah.
after going after people that are fucking keying swastikas into the side of you know uh,
Their neighbor who's
Teslas.
most likely a liberal, a Tesla.
Yeah, Teslas and things like that. Those are easy fish, and those are easy headlines to pop. You take them
Yeah.
out first. You take out the front
Yeah.
line. Then
Yeah.
the judges, the senators, the reps, the Biden admin scum. Those you need to build up cases. You need to build up case against. Because again, I don't want them to. I don't want anybody to be breaking rules or breaking protocols to do it. Right? I don't
Yeah.
want them to.
Like what they
I don't
did to
want.
us.
Yeah, I don't want that. They we have the presidency, the cabinets, we have the Senate, we have the House. Technically, we have SCOTUS, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Technically, we have that. We just we don't want something that the next president's going to come in and be like, okay, all of this was illegal. We want everything to be above board.
Yeah. I agree 100%, man.
Just if it takes
100%.
a little bit of time, it's going to take a little bit of time. Sorry.
Yeah. No, no, you're right, man. Absolutely right, man. Jonathan asked a question. This is a good one. I actually did see this. I said, did anyone see it was proven that the town hall with AOC and Bernie was completely astroturf? They shipped in a bunch of people, mostly Antifa and BLM from all over the country. Yeah, because that's what they do. They got these professional people that either protesting or going to these rallies. They got to pay people to come.
You're talking
That's what
about
we
what
saw
happened in Colorado?
in. I think it was in Arizona. They in Arizona they Bernie first came out of his face and was like, it might be Colorado, but I know Bernie came out of his face for the Arizona one and was like, we have 15,000 people, but the venue only seats 5,000 people. So they didn't have
Right.
15,000 people, right? And then the next thing they said after that was to follow, whoa, no, we had an overfill, right? Was outside. So that equaled 15,000. So to me, I was like, well, even if you guys had
Bullshit.
15,000 total, those are rookie numbers. I was like, those are fucking rookie numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Trump would go to one of these rallies at a venue that has 5,000, but he'd have 105,000 outside. So it was like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
Well, they definitely lied. I
Magaloyan.
think they found out some stuff about their what do you call it? About their Colorado rally they had this past weekend. I think they said most of them were paid actors anyway.
Yes, yeah, yeah. That could be who what do you call it? Who Jonathan is talking about? The Colorado. Uh,
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
you're
like
right. I
80
think
something
that's
percent. 80% of them, I think, had reportedly been in some had like other rallies or protests or whatever.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So they just shipped them all in, just like they usually do.
yeah. And Conserve
But you know what,
says
though? You
Chief
know what the
Justice
point is?
Roberts.
But you know what? This is another point. I was talking to my friend Mia the other day um, on Instagram about this because she hears a lot from outside the country, and they're saying how like oh, there's so many people that are unhappy with Trump, and I'm like, dude, Trump, I don't remember exactly how many votes he got. We'll just say like 75 million, right?
Yeah, I think it
So
was
75
77.
million votes. Okay, 77 million. Kamala still got like 70 million,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, how, legit or not, whatever. As far as the officials records go, it'll have gone down that she got like 70 million. Okay, he beat her by
Correct.
like about 7 million.
Correct.
Electoral college, yeah, that was a blowout. You know,
Yeah.
what do you call it? The popular vote, he beat her solid, but it was there. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
regardless of whether yeah, it doesn't matter if it was narrow, he still beat her. Doesn't matter.
Right. So the point is that when CNN says, "Oh my God, 1 million people showed up in New York City to protest
Yeah.
Trump," it's like, yeah, no
Yeah.
shit. Fucking 70 million people voted against him. Of course, they could probably. Doesn't matter if a
Get
million
together.
people.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Chef brought up, he says that going back to Colorado, he said they use canned laughter and audience sounds. He said Chris Gore had talked about that it's all fake. Chris Gore talked about was that on Film Threat? The AI we see, bro, is 20 years old. This technology comes out to the public slowly. They use it every tool they have, and they're still losing. True.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a true
Remember that?
statement. Yeah.
Remember in the Kamala campaigns, they showed like literally this massive crowd around her in the fucking air hangar, and
Yeah.
you can see the reflection off the plane that there's nobody there.
Yeah.
Literally nobody there. I mean, they did that over and over again during her campaign. She could
So
not get crowds of people to show up.
Conserve says Kakala only got 66 million.
Okay, but that's still 66
Yeah.
million.
Yeah.
So if someone says, I don't care if someone says 5 million people marched on Washington, who cares?
Yeah. He
We
still
could
won.
get we could get more than 5 million people to show up
I
in
know.
support. So what? It's a wash.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
wash. Doesn't
It's
matter.
true.
So don't be
It's so
don't
true.
what the news will tell you, oh my God, look at this. This just shows you the country is against Trump. No, it's not. Just 5 million
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. It's just
Well,
5 million people. It's true.
fuck yeah, that's gaslighting. That's right.
Yeah.
That's lying.
That's what they do. That's what they do. That's what they're good at that shit. You know? They gaslight the fuck out of it.
Because
That's what they do. And that's why their people are just like
people don't see the
so
big picture.
They don't. That's why the people are completely brainwashed, and they believe this, right? They listen to these people on Twitter and in the media and whatnot saying that right now, oh, fucking MAGA voters are freaking regretting their vote. No, we're not. Okay, we don't. Trust me, we don't. Everything that he's doing right now, this is what we voted for. We want it, but we've been wanting this done for a very long time. Uh, and
Yeah, exactly. Oops.
Chef said her numbers kept changing every day. I got screenshot. He beat her by like 15 million.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
solid.
I mean,
It was a
it
solid
was
amount. I
solid. It,
mean,
it was a
percentage
solid
wise, it
victory.
may not have looked like it you crazy, but it was a solid number of people that voted for him.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the fact that, well, just fine, 50 million, 60 million, whatever she got, it's still 50, 60 million people. So
yeah.
unless they get
Did
literally like 80 million people to say we hate Trump,
yeah,
nothing they
like
say phases me about
like
anything.
like they fabricated in 2020, right? Like because
Hmm.
that extra 20 million people disappeared. Okay, for fucking 2024, don't know where the fuck they went. Because our numbers
Exactly.
still stayed pretty much the same.
Yep. Ours went
We
up a
we
little bit.
yeah, ours went up a little bit, but they actually lost 20 million people. So it's like
Yeah.
really,
Where did they go?
so where the fuck did they go? Yeah, because because one of the things that was happening, like we said earlier, is that the lawyers from the RNC were fighting all over the country. And I
Hmm.
saw you posted an article, and we have talked about it before. You posted an article on your stories about that the RNC was saying that we're still fighting, and even though we're not in an election year, we're still our lawyers essentially are still out there and everything. We're still ready to fight. So I'm glad to hear that
Yes.
because we can't
Yeah.
we can't stop.
People like Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch are constantly fighting. Um,
Yeah,
even on my countdown this week, one of the Trump effect things. One of the things was different. It was three different states where we had election victories
hmm
about things that they were trying to fucking fix,
yeah.
and
Election
somehow
integrity.
we yeah, election
Yeah,
integrity.
yeah,
They were trying to make changes to the elections, and we won every single case. I don't think we've had
yeah.
any really big L's lately. Even in the state of New York this past week, they literally the I think the Supreme Court of New York told New York City you can't let
Yes,
illegals vote
yes,
anymore.
yeah.
Even in
I
New
posted.
York.
I think I posted that on Friday. I think I posted that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that in the state of New York, they essentially told the city of New York illegals are not allowed to vote in elections.
Major victory.
A
Major
a a
victory.
liberal, okay, a liberal court, all right, said no, this isn't. Yeah, this isn't correct. So that
Hmm.
was actually shocking. But they
Yeah.
actually sided with the plan. They sided with you know,
You know why?
the the people who were suing the city.
You know
So
why? That's
because
the Trump effect.
it's the Trump effect. Yeah. Well,
Trump. It is.
um,
They have to read. They have to read the. They have to read the country. They have to see this is where public sentiment is trending right now. They know
yeah,
that the administration is heavy on this. That's what their
yeah,
voters, voted them in for. They're going to go. Trump is going to have them go after states that try to go off the rails with these stupid laws that shouldn't even be legal.
right.
So they'll be like, "Oh, we're not going to be responsible for that." They read the room.
Yeah,
Because
there's a
there's
good statement. You see what
what's
Jonathan says? He said, "Notice the media doesn't make snarky remarks or try to fact check Trump when he says 2020 was stolen anymore."
not anymore.
Nope.
They don't even fact check us on social media. Whoops. How did
Yeah,
that suddenly happen? How did we suddenly
yeah.
allowed to do that?
Conserve says legals were never allowed to vote in elections. However, during their midterms, they changed the laws to allow them to vote in local elections in state, but not federal.
Yeah.
Correct. But if you don't, here's my thing with that. The court just said they can't do that at all anyway, right? Like that was just their ruling. The appellate court
Well, they
said no.
didn't
It's in the
say
state of New.
that's the thing. It's all in the way they word it, right? It wasn't that they said, oh, that they're permitted to vote. It's just that you're not allowed to ask for identification when people show up. That's
Correct.
it's
That
all
was
in
one
how
of the
you
things.
phrase it.
That was one of the things that right. But what we were just talking about is essentially how, like you said, the liberal court in New York was like feeling the pulse of the country and feeling where this is going, all right, where the lawsuits are going to
Mhm.
come against the states from this Trump DOJ when it comes to election integrity, was so they made their ruling like, yeah, illegals can't vote, right? Because they, like what
Mhm.
conservatives saying, they changed the laws, okay, in the state of New
Yep.
York so that they can vote in local and state elections. But if we don't think for a minute that they're not fucking sliding in there and voting on federal elections too, you know what I'm saying? Because
They,
they're a local,
that's the thing.
they're a local, and when we have federal elections, there are local and state elections going on at the same time.
Of
So you're gonna,
course.
so how do we know? How do we know that they
You
weren't voting
can't.
in federal elections either? We can't confirm or deny that, right? Like we
Yep.
can't
And
confirm
they're
that they
not
didn't do that.
and they weren't the only state to do that. I think
Yeah,
Jersey was saying you
yeah,
can't ask for ID. California had that.
yeah, yeah.
Seattle,
On
Washington,
purpose,
Oregon.
so that they can vote
Yeah.
in the federal election. Right. It was meant
Yeah.
to do that on purpose. Right. So they may have wrote laws to put in place to say, hey, you can only vote, illegals are only allowed to vote in legal and local and fucking state elections, but we're going to follow this up with you can't ask them for any ID law, all right, so that they can go
Right.
ahead and vote in the federal elections anyway.
Yep.
So they had the laws on the books to say that they can only vote in fucking two of the three elections that go on in our states, all right, but you
Right.
can't do the third. But this law says that you don't need an ID. You can't ask them for an ID, all right. So they're going to go and vote in the
Right.
federal election anyway.
Right. And now this week, you saw. I mean, if there's a difference between conservative and say like MAGA or whatever,
Yeah,
I believe it was the state of Wyoming this week who has who ha- is basically not only just majority. I want to say it's super majority
I think the
of
Republicans have a
MAGA.
super majority. Yeah, conservative.
Not
I
just
think Wyoming's
not
very
just
conservative.
not just Republicans.
No, I
They're
think they're
the
conservative.
they're the no, they're the Patriot MAGA party that actually has the majority. So what they did this past week, they actually passed a bill that says not only do you have to show ID, you have to show proof of citizenship
Yeah, I
to
saw
vote
that.
in
I did see
any
that
election.
in our
Boom,
state, regardless of what type of election it is. Yep.
boom.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to
Citizenship.
be.
You can't just show up with a driver's license and be like, "I'm ready here to vote." You better show a fucking, I guess, a birth certificate or social security card or something.
Yeah, Magalorian, thanks for checking in with us. We can't wait to see you again. We'll be back. Scott and I will be back for the Patriot panel on Friday. I'll be back on Wednesday with the Chris Influence or by myself, one or the other. But
Mm.
Scott and I will be back together on Friday. Thanks for coming back. We missed you. We hadn't seen you in a while.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So yeah, I did see that, bro. That Wyoming just essentially put the smackdown on is that you have to prove that you're an American citizen to vote in
Mhm.
our state. Period.
Anything.
End of case. Anything
Local,
doesn't matter what.
local,
Yeah,
state, federal, boom.
dog catcher doesn't
But you
matter.
know what?
Whatever the fuck it is.
That's just the first domino. You know what?
Yeah.
That's a direction. The other states can now look to that and be like, that's what we need to get to. How do we get there?
Yeah. Well, states that want to, right? Like states like New York and California
Yep.
and
They have to
Illinois
want to.
and the usual suspects are not going to, right? Like we understand that, if we have a state that's mainly red, maybe not a super majority, like you just said, they could look at that example of how did Wyoming do it? How do we do it?
Yep. I mean,
You're very welcome, Magalorian.
Florida's pretty
Thank
close to
you
that.
again
They've already got a
for hanging with
supermajority
us.
in the legislature.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, no, man. No, that's Wyoming should be the the template of this is how they got it done in their state legislature. This we have to get super majorities in our state so that we could freaking do the same thing. Period.
Hmm.
Right? Because then you can't the federal government can't fucking can't sue you if you're doing that. If you're protecting your election, they can't do it because the law states that the it's up to the states to fucking dictate, right? What it is that they do
Exactly.
in their states when it comes to elections. So you can't go after them. Not well, Trump wouldn't go after them anyway, but the Biden administration would have done that
They would have.
for sure. Or
Yeah.
Kakala, like Conserve says, Gemala would have definitely she would have definitely been suing her DOJ would have been suing them right now and lost probably for sure because they did it all within their they did it all with their legislature, which is the way you're supposed to do when you make laws, in particular voting laws, right? Like you can't
Hmm.
these boards and the voting boards and election boards, they're not allowed to make rules and regulations, which is what
They
that was
shouldn't.
the illegal shit that went on during 2020.
Yep.
And a lot of that shit, we talked about it, right? How many times did we talk about it leading up to the election? A lot of that shit didn't get cleaned up until almost the very end. In some of these states where like they're still doing this shit in this state. You still can do
Some
this in this
most
state.
most of those states didn't get cleaned up until like a year or two after the election. They
Yeah.
were saying like, oh, this rule that you this board passed in what do you call it, in like 2020, like 3 months before the election. Oh yeah, that was against the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
two years later,
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, too late.
two
Again,
years
they didn't
after
want to. It
Biden
goes
already
back
like
to
had his fucking shit going
it, it
on.
goes it goes back to what Conserve actually mentioned that earlier on one of his chats. He said that they brought these cases and the judges they didn't want to take them. They kicked them and stuff
Yep.
like that. Then when it was brought back up again, like you said, 2 years later, now they're like, oh yeah, it was illegal, but they didn't want to deal with it at the time, which is what they should have done. Right? They could have
Yep.
fixed it. They could have fixed a lot of shit. They had a window to fix it. They didn't want to. It was a hot fucking flaming
Right.
Cheeto that they didn't want to
Right.
eat. Uh,
And
you know, uh,
anybody that says any of those lawsuits were lost, they were not lost. The
yeah,
judge or the judge or whoever board it was, they refused to hear the evidence.
correct,
It was thrown
correct.
out. That's a completely different scenario. They did not. They wanted to literally go throw their heads in the sand and say, "Nope, nope, nope. Don't want to see anything. Nope,
Yeah,
nope."
yeah. There was no
That's not the
litigation at
same
all.
thing. It was not
There
the
was no
same thing.
litigation at all. Yeah, it's not. It's not the same thing
And
as
they did the
actually.
same thing with they did the same thing with the vaccines too, right?
Yeah,
They did the same
yeah,
thing. They didn't want to hear the preponderance of evidence.
yeah. They just fucking threw their hands up, and including the Supreme Court did
Yep.
it too. They just,
Mhm.
they didn't want to
Yep.
listen and stuff like that. It's just straight bullshit. Again, going back to we just want constitutionalists on the bench, no matter what level they're on. We just want people to follow the Constitution. That's all we're asking for. You know, we're in a position where, uh, what it conserve says they had a guy in Georgia in front of a judge hack and bypass a voting machine with a big pen, and the judge still
Hmm.
tossed it. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. You're correct, man. And they didn't want anything. They just didn't want to touch it. It was like radioactive, and they didn't want to do their jobs because
Yep.
it was going to uproot a lot of bullshit, especially in blue states. Okay, and they just didn't want to fucking do it. It's just sad
Yep.
that we were at that point in 2020. But again, we saw in 2024 after the election that we now know definitively, even though we always knew, especially those of us that watch this channel and people like Scott and I, we always knew that it was fucking stolen. But definitively, we were able to say, yeah, they definitely stole it after this last election. It's just fucking sad that we couldn't get shit done,
Hmm.
man. Um, Speaking of gaslighting, Did you see about fucking the left's favorite fucking Mac the Moon looking twink? How he gaslighted a whole bunch of chicks. This ugly fuck. Can you believe this ugly fuck? For the ladies in the
Oh,
chat, this is
Harry Sisson.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you guys see this?
I.
This dude
You know what?
gaslit.
Several people had to remind me. They're like, we all thought he was gay.
Yeah, it says, yeah, so did I. It's the
Isn't he?
Democrats' favorite influencer, Harry Sisson, accused of tricking 11 women, including an abuse survivor, into sending explicit photos via Snapchat. Yeah, I thought he was a
So he's
twink.
not gay.
Uh, he could be bi. Who knows? I thought he was. I think he's a
Oh,
twink. I don't give a shit what anybody says. He got the DSLs, man.
so dumb.
It's just a fucking. Every time I hear that fucking twink talk, I'm like, God, someone just hit him with a frying pan. Hit him with something, man. Uh, can't stand him, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
to Jonathan.
yeah, he's someone I
Jonathan says,
cannot stand the look on his face. Just
I can't. He says,
he's
biggest
such a
revelation in
douche.
2025 was Harry Sisson isn't gay.
Seriously,
I
that's
thought he was a
actually
twink.
pretty big news.
Yeah, it is. I thought he was a twink, man. He just looks like he gets pounded. He gets his cheeks wrecked fucking like every evening. Chef says he's a fig.
He looks like he's so full of
I'm
soy
with
that
you,
like
Chef.
he would know he would know what a, never mind, I don't want to say it.
Yeah, I remember that line. Conserve. I remember that. Yeah, with fucking Chuck Schumer. But yeah,
Oh
I thought
God,
Harry Sisson.
so
I still
cringe.
think I don't care what anybody says. I still think he's a twink. I think he was just doing, what did chef says they're trying to make him look like it's all fake. He takes the scene 9 times a day.
Probably. I wouldn't.
Oh man, he's definitely getting spit roasted by those two other dudes that he's always filming with.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they don't look like best friends. They look like more than friends.
No, no, they look like they're definitely, yeah. He's getting spit roasted by dudes like
I mean,
regularly.
somebody,
Definitely.
in all seriousness, if he's not,
Yeah.
he really needs like an image consultant because everything he's doing is pointing in that direction.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely looks like he gives dudes the rusty he gives rusty trombones to fucking dudes.
Yeah, I mean, oof, he definitely needs an image consultant or something.
Yeah, he's got no riz whatsoever.
Well, he's got
Looking
some
like
riz, but I don't
fucking
know what it.
yeah,
I don't think he's
no,
got
he's
the
got
right riz
jizz.
going for him. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's got
he's got
jizz, not
jizz.
riz.
Yeah, he gets jizzed. With his fucking Mac the Moon looking face. Jesus Christ, man. I agree with you. Whoever his image consultant is, they need to fix him.
Yeah, they wonder why the
Scoob was
Democrats did
laughing.
so. Well, they wonder why they did so poorly with men in like the election. That's why, because that's the men who are representing the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
they don't have men; they have boys. They literally, think about it. They have boys and old men.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
their image.
It's true. And this is true. This is a good point right here. It says, isn't it kind of weird? All these Democrat influence end up being predators, Destiny, Harry, et cetera, et cetera. It's true.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's so true. It's like, they all end up being like super predators or mega figs. They're getting spit roasted by dudes. They're giving up sloppy tops to their best friends and whatnot, and while they're playing fucking Call of Duty, and stuff like that. It's just Scoop says he's dying. It's true. Come on,
Couldn't
man.
be more true.
Sis, and he's definitely fucking. Come on, man. He's giving dudes brain in a fucking Lovey's parking lot on I-95 somewhere.
Yeah,
He stops in fucking truck stops.
yeah. Fucking, I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, at least he looks that way. But
Like
again,
with his hot
supposedly
pocket in his hand.
yeah, he's got a fucking. Supposedly he messed with 11 chicks, including an abuse survivor. But
Yeah, that's
if
the thing. I can't imagine. The only way that makes sense is that if all 11 chicks worked for like O'Keefe Media Group and they were messing with him,
right, we're
um,
gonna get the
like that,
videos coming out soon.
like I can't imagine that there was 11 chicks out there that actually like were trying to get with him.
Yeah,
Like that
I
just
just.
doesn't make sense.
But they could have been trying to get him to peg him, right? Like I mean, again, he
Yeah,
looks
they
like he
were
gets spit
probably
roasted
all.
by his.
Yeah, they weren't really women.
Yeah, yeah. They were probably gonna, but even if they were probably he probably was gonna get pegged at some point,
Yeah,
you know, because like I said, he looks like he gets
probably.
spit roasted by his two boys, the two dudes that
Yeah,
he's constantly doing videos with.
they were all women who were leading the or the women's long jump competition. Those are the type of
Look at
women that
Scoop.
were like trying to get pictures with him. He's like, "Hey,
Says
I'm
I showed up for
Samantha."
yeah. The Scoop says I showed up for the laughs again. Y'all don't disappoint. uh, Conserve says, why do I know so many of these terms? Because they're fucking out there, man. You listen, bro. 12 years of the military, man, and you got to deal with a lot of shit. They always give you before you get off a ship. They tell you make sure to check the package before
Hmm.
you hit a port of call, whatever. They tell, trust me, man. We get our warnings and our heads up on things, stuff like that. If you end up with the fucking black syphilis, you ain't coming back home. You know what I'm saying? So like you leave your ass in the country. If you're in
Hmm.
Japan and you're freaking doing what you're not supposed to, you'll be eating fish heads and rice in a jail somewhere. So,
Fish
trust me,
heads.
man. Yeah. That's what they used to tell us in Okinawa. Like, go ahead and get fucked up. Go ahead and do something stupid, out on the streets in Okinawa. And the freaking Okinawan police are gonna hem you up, and you'll be eating fish heads and rice. I don't know where the hell they got that from, but shit, but yeah, but you
Fish
believe that
heads.
shit, yeah. And like I said before, your
Hmm.
safety brief, they were like, "Listen, man, you're gonna go out on the town. Make sure you fucking don't go into combat without a flak jacket on this island, because if you end up with a black syphilis, you ain't coming back home."
Mm, that's rough.
Yeah, it's just like holy shit. That's how it was. Yes, Nina, they don't know what a woman is.
Yeah.
They don't. That's why it's hard to believe. Scoop says he's invited to the carne asada with those jokes.
That's the
Oh, I'm
thing.
sure
It's
Harry
just
was
like
get. I'm sure
he's
Harry
looking
was
for.
getting carne asada, right?
Oh yeah, he was. He was like, "Oh, you're such a hot woman. Can you show me your penis?"
Yeah. I'll call you, ma'am. I'll call you, ma'am.
That's right.
I know it's ma'am. I know it's
It
ma'am.
looked like yeah, he was getting pictures from girls who looked like Jim
Yeah.
Carrey when he was like the steroid freak on In Living Color. Why, Harry?
Nah. We're gonna see the pictures. Remember the movie Hangover when they went to Thailand? The pictures are gonna end up
Ooh,
being like that.
yep.
with
Harry
him
on the
with
ground on
him
all fours.
hammering on the ground on all fours crying.
I can't wait for those stories to come out,
As his freaking
and
cheeks are
they
getting
will.
glazed.
They will, because the internet
uh,
loves that shit. They'll want their
yeah,
moment. They'll all want their 5 minutes.
yes, they're gonna just, man. Everybody hates. Nobody likes that dude, man. And just like only the people on his side, I think even some of the people on his side can't stand him. They're just listening to him talk, and you're like, God damn, just shut the fuck up. And he thinks he
I
knows how to
can't.
meme and all that other stuff. It's just
I
like,
cannot
I,
stand. No, he cannot meme at all.
he's terrible. By the
He's
way,
the
he was one of
worst.
the first people. Like what we were talking about earlier. He was one of the first people to go on Twitter to say that Trump voters were regretting MAGA was regretting voting for Trump.
He was.
He was one of the first people.
He
As
was.
he was sitting there with his two boys.
There's not a video I see of him that doesn't make me want to like do like a response video, and it's just like,
I just yeah, it's just it's gonna be like super hateful. Like anything you say is gonna be hateful to him because he's just a nasty. He's just a
he's
God.
just
He's
such an
just I
idiot.
hate.
He's a
He's not.
moron.
You can't like him for anything. Like there's nothing he comes out of it. There's nothing about him that's likable at all as a
No,
person. You know what I'm saying? You can't even be like, well, he looks like he might be a cool dude. No, you know that he's a dude. You
no,
know that
he's
he's just a
not.
cock gobbler. You know that. You know he's just like fucking. He's taking chin music. Okay, fucking by one of his boys is giving him chin music. You know what I'm saying? He's getting his fucking chin clapped.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, and he's getting the other thing too. He's getting worse.
He is.
Like
He
he
is. He's
used to
definitely
just
crashing
be.
out. He's
I don't
crashing
know
out.
what. I didn't think it could get worse because when he used to just do these videos where his like hair is always a mess, and he just like
Yeah.
gets right up in the camera like, you know,
Yeah.
and now he's trying to be an adult, and it's worse. Where he's sitting there, he's literally sitting there with his tea, and he's just sort of like, so MAGA. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, it's worse, dude. You feel like a bigger jackass than before when you're trying to
Yeah.
be an adult.
He's got nothing for us, man. Listen,
It's
listen. We
horrible. It's like
won.
you don't even have half a take on anything.
And he's always like way late. He never had. You're right. He doesn't even have a half a take on something.
He
His
doesn't. He can't even
his
make
every
half of a
response,
metaphor.
his whole response is always MAGA this, MAGA that, but he's always wrong, and he gets absolutely obliterated on social media. Like when he drops something on his freaking page, he gets ratioed. Okay, like he
Hmm.
was back in fucking elementary school, dude. It's just like
Oh, it's
it.
horrible.
It's definitely
But that's all
some.
he cares about. He wants the views. He wants the views, and he knows that he'll get just like, a million views, because a million of the views will be like people
Yeah.
that just are so fed up with him.
Yeah, everybody. You know who's another one I can't? That other fucking, what do you call it? That other pendejo. What's his name? David Hogg. Is that his name? That's another one I can't stand, man. Oh God.
He's
Oh,
gonna get wrecked. He's gonna get wrecked very soon because he made the mistake of trying to go legit and joining the Democrat Party. Whatever there's the vice chair or whatever. And I think within the first week, he's already getting in trouble for like improprieties within the party, like using like he's literally using his own party to try and make money.
yeah.
It's
Look
so
at fucking
stupid, dude.
Look at conserve says. I thought chin music was a baseball term, and now you have just shattered everyone's childhood. He said we had the meme
Oh
enough
man,
of Major League Baseball ball chinians, but damn. Yeah, well, I co-opted it, man. It does mean chin music is a baseball term. I just used it for people like him who take balls off his fucking chin. He's got a set of dudes nuts fucking clapping off his fucking the chin clap. uh
yeah.
but yes, you're correct, man. It's absolutely a baseball term. I just co-opted it. That's all. I took it from me. Um so how did we ended up I figured we'd end up fucking just bagging on Harry Sissy boy. He gets wrecked, but yo, it's not even. But you know who wrecks him the most? Is chicks be wrecking him on it. The conservative chicks
Oh
be
my God, they
absolutely
just tear
wrecking
him
him.
apart.
They absolutely destroy him. Him and David Hogg, they absolutely destroy him. And then when Harry comes on with fucking uh what's his the two dudes that he's always with, the two guys that spit roast him at night,
Mhm.
they make it worse for them because they always do some stupid dance or some dumb shit, and they just sound uh
It's pretty bad. Like every I would do like I would that's what I was gonna say was my whole thought was that I would do more like response videos, but honestly, I don't even want to give him the oxygen of like people just like seeing him. Like I don't even want him. I don't want to even I don't want to have his image on my Instagram page. You know, like I don't want to put him in a. I don't want to have his images anywhere and people seeing it. I just don't want to because he's just so fucking annoying. He skeeves me that much. I
yeah,
don't
he's
understand
just
how anybody follows him and just thinks that he's
yeah.
like some dude that you want to follow.
Scoop said that he's weak right now. He's gonna need an inhaler after this. Oh God, yeah. To tell you the truth, man, I'm with you on that one. We just got to stop giving these guys burn and giving them the daylight and just like I honestly don't even respond when I see these things come up because I'm like, well, one, there's like a million people that are gonna absolutely fucking torch him, So he doesn't need an extra torch because he's already getting wrecked, right? And it just like uh it just
It's
wait a minute. Hey, Chelsea, what's going on, hon? It's good to see you. Um, yeah, it just seeing him talk and the other one, David Hogg. Who else? Who else is driving me crazy right now? What's her name? Uh, Cockeyed Cratchit. What's her name? The cockeyed chick.
Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, I call her Cockeyed Cratchit.
Have you know? You know what have you noticed though? Have you noticed that these these really like leftist politicians, they're always going to other states to do their
Yeah,
like fucking walking down the street. AOC
yeah,
and like Bernie were out in fucking Colorado. Jasmine Crockett's in New York City.
yeah,
Like I think Cafecito Break showed me, and I was just like, dude, why doesn't anybody tell Jasmine to go take a hike on the street in New York?
yeah.
Like, why?
Bro, I don't know. I mean, well,
Like,
listen,
if it was
she gets
AOC,
elected in her own
AOC would.
district.
Yeah, that's the thing. If AOC tried walking down her in the street in her district, she'd get killed.
They would definitely wreck her.
She would get
Yeah,
torn
like
apart. That's why they
yeah,
don't do
like
it in their own
yeah.
districts because nobody in the district
It
likes them.
no, but they keep voting for them for whatever godforsaken reason. They keep voting these idiots
Allegedly.
back in.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Okay, allegedly they vote for these morons. And he, because what's it? Cockeyed is from where's she from? Houston, right? Or yeah,
She's
she's from
from
Houston, I think.
Houston.
Yeah, Cockeyed is from Houston. Yeah. Um, and then AOC, like you said, they don't. Yeah. And yes, I'm with you. You talking about Rachel Zegler, Chelsea? Yes, the Snow White actress. She's
Oh
abysmal.
God.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that, here, hang on. I don't know if anybody has seen it. I haven't. There's enough
You see
people
her
who
video
got
from today?
videos. I have not actually. I think
I
someone told me
posted
there's a
something.
video out there. You did?
I
All right, all
posted
right, all right.
something
Hang on.
today on my stories. She
Yeah, she was
I don't know
talking
when the
about.
video was taken, but I think it was after the premiere, and she's just online crying again, saying like everyone, I'm gonna
Oh
I'm gonna
yes, I
survive no
did
matter
see that.
what you say.
Uh huh. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah. I
can't
think I
bring me
saw that.
down.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
Yes. Yes. She was weeping and crying, and it is an absolute disaster. Okay.
It's a
This,
pleasure, dude. There's so many people in Florida that love to see Disney take loss after loss.
I know.
They love it.
Trust me, a lot of us do. So this is from that Park Place. They said Deadline quietly admits Snow White's box office failure wasn't political after months of media spin. It was like,
Wasn't.
I didn't get to see it today, but I think Nerd Roddick was on Glenn Beck today, and I didn't get to see that segment. And what do you call it? He was just apps. They were actually going into like the socialism of the movie, like how it was basically there was no prince. It was like a pauper.
Mhm.
It was like some bandit dude was supposed to be the prince. They didn't even have Prince Charming. The whole story was all fucked up. Um, you know, it says because the fake Aladdin princess is a part of the new squad and Big Red One Guy, did you see that they did a geo tracker data scan and all of the people at their rally in New York were all found? Yes. I think that's what Jonathan was talking about that earlier. And yeah, you're absolutely right,
Mhm.
conserve. Jonathan was talking about that. Yeah, that's what he said that like everybody that was at their rally was at a things in New York and everywhere else for BLM and Antifa. 100%, man. Yes, and Act
Yep.
Blue. That's okay. This is another what he's saying. Tifa and left organizations, including Act Blue. I'd love to see Act Blue get absolutely obliterated, right? Because they just like they funnel all the money to everywhere. Act Blue is
I
like
have.
they got.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have to believe that they will. That's going to be a Bondi investigation
It has
at
to
some
be, man.
point. It has to
It
be.
has to be. Like they can't let that shit continue to go. These like everywhere, all the fraud shit that came out, like leading up to the election,
Mhm.
James O'Keefe was finding like people in Texas who like voted 300,000 times and was like, I never voted. I didn't even vote for this person, but their name
Right.
was used to vote for someone like, you know what I'm saying? Like 20,000 times. It's ridiculous. So how is Act Blue not freaking torn to shreds yet? I hope. I'm with you, man. That has to be absolutely has to be
Yeah.
an investigation for the Bondi DOJ. She has to go after them.
And
They have
then you
to.
know what? And then fucking set Doge on them.
Yeah,
Let Doge
I
go to
would love to
work on
see.
them.
Well, I think some states are starting to they're starting to adopt Doge like uh things in their states now. Some of the red states are starting to
Florida
do that.
is.
Yeah, I read something about that. That Florida's looking to do that
They
so that
already.
we can start cutting waste.
Did you
They
hear
already
what?
do
Did
it?
you hear what DeSantis did this weekend?
No, what did he do this weekend?
He's returning $1 billion to the federal government.
Returning $1 billion back to the federal government.
Returning, returning,
What was it from?
because
Just curious.
who knows? It was stuff that he actually because Florida's since I don't know how many years now, but Florida's been in a budget surplus. Like
Correct.
Florida has like a $1 or $2 billion like budget surplus since for the
Yeah.
last like 4 years probably.
Yeah, I know. You
They're
guys have
like
been
being
doing very
run
well down
so
there.
well,
Yeah.
and I can tell you this: it's not because they're pinching pennies either. They've been giving the teachers raises. They've been giving bonuses to cops. They've been giving people who work for the government raises. Um, it's just a fucking a tight ship. Well, what he did was he actually said he's been wanting to give money back to the federal government, but under Biden, nobody could even figure out how. They couldn't. No one had a fucking head. Couldn't pull their head out of their ass long enough
Right.
to even like say, well, this is how you'd return it. They like literally had no answers, but they have answers
Mm.
now. So he's
But
like, yeah, it's going to be for now. It's going to be $1 billion we're handing back to the federal government that we actually didn't need.
okay, all right. So it was money that was granted to the state from the federal government. Government's running Florida government's running in a massive surplus, and they're like, we don't need this money. We're going to give it back.
Yep, because that's Trump's mandate.
Right.
Let's eliminate waste.
Yeah.
So let's do it.
No, that I mean, I think that's pretty dope. It would be nice if more states did that. But
It'd be
I'm going to
crazy,
continue
amazing.
to. I want to see. I still want to see Doge continue to go to work. Um, we're having these fights with these activist judges. Um,
Yeah.
hang on. Chelsea said, did you guys also see what Doge came up with yesterday? 330 million in SBA loans to children. Yes, I saw that today. I didn't see it
Yeah.
yesterday, but I saw that today. Under 11 in the past administration, one 9-month-old
Yep.
received a 100. See, people using their kid's social security number. That's like an old time
Yeah.
gimmick, right? That is a fucking gimmick that goes back to the hood forever for people with shit credit. They fucking fuck their children's credit up, okay, by using their children's social security number and their children's name and everything. It's just insane, man. It's insane that's just incredible. I did see that Chelsea, but I didn't see it yesterday. I saw it today, this morning. That's ridiculous, man. Ridiculous, bro. $330 million in loans to children under the age of 11, and one of them was a 9-month-old received 100K.
Yeah. And we'll probably see Chuck Schumer on the news saying, "We don't know that they actually cashed those checks." Stupid fuckers.
It's true, right? He'll be like, yeah, well, we don't know if that 9-month-old needed that $100,000
Yeah,
check.
we don't know the situation. We don't want to just
Yeah, that
cancel all those checks
I
just like
know that.
that.
Yeah, that 11-year-old might have needed it for fucking school supplies.
Yeah, exactly.
They're fucking morons, man. They don't
Maybe.
care, man.
Yeah. You're you're taking this money away. What if these people needed it for their immigration court cases or something?
Yeah, it's probably what it was. It wouldn't surprise me if any of those loans. I, listen, I'm pretty sure there illegal aliens were getting loans as well.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
it just from the government and grants and whatnot. I mean, we saw what they did. They were just handing out money like it was fucking candy and whatnot. Here you get this, you get a debit card, you get a debit card. We all get debit cards. Here you go, and just handing them at
Hmm.
will and stuff like that. They were getting phones, all kinds of stuff, man. This is just insane, insane in the membrane. All of this shit. It just is. It's ridiculously crazy. And I'm gonna continue to just let Doge do their thing, and uh I know they've been crying that people are gonna lose their SNAP, they're gonna lose their Medicare,
It's
veterans, we're
all
gonna lose
bullshit.
our yeah, we're gonna lose our disability. None of that has happened. None of that has come to fruition, by the way. None of that.
Nope, none of it.
Okay, not one
They're all
person has
full of
lost their
shit.
fucking. They're all just they're all dumb, full of
No
shit.
one's lost their Social
Yeah,
Security. No one's lost their Medicare. No one's lost their veterans benefits.
yeah, it's just a crock of shit. It's sad because like I was seeing on like I've seen some of these veteran influencers that are like, they talk about veterans issues and they had these clickbaity fucking titles and shit in their videos and you click on it and you're listening to it and it's like has nothing to do one, it had nothing to do with what you're saying, and like two, you're giving
Hmm.
people you end up hearing that, yeah, oh, you mean our benefits aren't going anywhere? It's like, dude, stop with the bullshit because people listen to you. Other veterans are trying to get information about, how do I go about getting my benefits? How do I go through the process? What do I need? Are there lawyers that I can talk to? Do we have advocates? Like this is what you guys are supposed to be doing. And then when you put some clickbaity shit and make people think they're gonna lose their benefits, and it's amazing. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
nobody has lost their benefits. What are you guys doing?
People will believe
It's
pretty
sad.
much anything you tell them. When they
Yeah.
want to, I try to tell people that it's like, when you want to believe I tell people that I talk to people that don't like Trump, and they think they hate Republicans. I'm like, dude, you just think you do. So everything you
Yeah,
hear, anytime you hear some bullshit, you just believe it. You
yeah,
just believe it, and it's certifiably not true. Like it's actually easy to debunk the lie. And when someone tries to show you, you don't want to hear it. You put your head back in the sand.
yeah,
So don't I'm so sick of people saying, "Oh yeah, we're in the cult." We're not in the cult. We can actually we've got receipts for pretty much anything that we are in support of. We've got the receipts to show for it. When
yeah.
I ask for receipts, I get crying and screaming, and I get called a Nazi.
And yeah, well, that's the new thing. We've been called Nazis forever now, so that's the first thing is Nazi out of their mouth, right? Out of Nazi. You're a Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
Let me draw the swastika on the side of this Tesla for my neighbor who's probably voted
Yeah,
for
because we're
fucking
the
Biden and voted for Harris. They suck, man. They never have a real true argument. Um, and the ones that actually do have arguments are the ones that are just like, they're lockstep into the communist shit, right? They take a page out of the Communist Manifesto and the Marxist movement, and they know their talking points like right down the. It's still bullshit, but they go right down the litany of fucking talking points, okay, in regards to Marxism and why Marxism is fucking gonna be great in this country because we want to have a communist freaking utopia that has never existed anywhere on Earth. Everywhere it's been tried, it's failed. It's nuts,
so
man.
com-
It's
we're
crazy.
so convinced that
Yeah,
that's the way to go.
yeah, man. Look again. You hear people like AOC, cockeyed, Cratchit out there, and they're just out there, just spewing the bullshit. AOC's out there with Bernie.
Oh
I
my
I
God, who
think that's
was it?
supposed to be I think that's supposed to be the new ticket, Bernie and AOC.
Oh my God, Bernie's not even going to make
Please,
it to 2028. Are
it's
you
like it's like it's
crazy?
like please do it, please do it.
Oh, I wish they would. Who's that? What's that guy's name? What's that grifter's name? Um, that black attorney who's always just like um every time there's like a BLM thing he showed Al Sharpton. I have a great clip. He's on there with who is this?
Oh, the Weeble Wobblehead,
Yeah.
Al
He's on
Sharpton.
with
Yeah, it looks like a Pez dispenser.
yep, he's on with Doug Collins, and it's on MSNBC. He's doing an interview, and he's just like, "Did you just say that America is not a democracy?" And the guy's like, "Yes, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic." And he's like, "Hold on, can you say that one more time? Because I want to play that next time there's the election coming up, so people know that you don't think that we live in a democracy." He says, "Please play it, because we're not." And I this fucking moron. Like you're supposed to be
They,
an attorney, freaking
yeah,
moron.
but again, that the whole democracy thing is by design. It's intended, okay, to get people to think that, and a lot of people do think that we actually live in a democracy, and that our country is a democracy.
Oh.
They genuinely believe that because they've been hearing that, okay, and forever, from their teachers, from their leaders, from their
Hmm.
pastors, from you name it, okay, has been telling them the word democracy. That's all they hear. And they still hear it. There's the same people
Yeah.
are still hear it. Like they don't hear it from us because we're going to continue to call us a republic like it is, okay, but
Yeah.
they truly believe that, bro. They really really believe that we're a democracy, man. But anyway, um figure
I
we'll
think we
close
went
it
over
out,
an
bro.
hour. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
we went
yeah,
over
yeah,
an
it's
hour
good,
here.
man. It was a good, yeah, just because like we always do, we get into a laughing thing about laughing about some shit because we were bagging on fucking Harry Sissy Boy. I think that
Yeah,
took up like 30 minutes just fucking laughing at his punk ass.
easily.
uh,
Man.
so, but anyway, I'll take us out, bro.
Okay.
Oh, man. All right, man. You got anything you want to plug?
No, I think I did everything. Just yeah, just share the make sure you like the podcast, and just share it. Get more people to come and watch.
Definitely, definitely like and subscribe. We definitely need that. Share it like Red Day is saying, share it with people. We need more people watching. We also want to build this community, right? Like we want more of you guys here so you can contribute with us and whatnot. We get a pretty decent turnout, but we just he's absolutely correct. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We need you on both Rumble and YouTube. We need you. So anyway, I'll take us out, brother. Righty, America. I am the big red one guy. That was Red Day Walker having our Monday Madness talks like we do, taking it back to when we first started, and it was just him and I. Um, so it was pretty good discussion as always. We always get into some funny stuff as well. We get some laughs out of shit. Makes the show go by really, really well. And you guys always absolutely contributing. Just a remarkable bunch of people. We're glad that you continue and you've been riding with us this whole time. It's just very important. Jonathan's been dropping the Discord link. Make sure you click on the Discord, you get in there. Make sure if you're following us on Rumble, like and subscribe. Uh, Drop your name, Rogue Nina. Here from now on, Rogue Nina's now on Rumble. Okay, all right, Nina, love you, hon. She's all right. She's been riding and dying with us. So anyway, get ready to close this out. Like Red Day was saying, we got something. He's got something planned on the 21st. As we get closer, we'll up the 21st of April. We'll update you a little bit more on it. He's organizing it, and it's his baby for that night. So we're gonna let him, when you call it, take care of that. Whatever help he needs from me, obviously, I'm gonna help him with. But very interested. I'm pretty sure he's gonna put together a good show because he always does, and he always gets good people to come on. So, with that said, I'm the Big Red One guy signing out. And remember that together and only together can we break the machine. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, like Red Day was saying. Don't forget to Discord. And if you want to support the channel, there's always a link at the top of the chat for a buy me a coffee. And who's that? Oh, Rogue. Yes. It's good to see you, Rogue, on YouTube. Anyway, have a good night, fam. God bless you all. God bless America. And I will see you on Wednesday, and Red Day will be back on Friday. Have a good night, fam, for the Patriot panel.